I have a fellow filmmaker on with me today, Anna Elizabeth James. How are you?
Very good. Nice to meet you, Katie. Great to be here.
It's such a pleasure. And since it's called She's All Over the Place, where in the world are you today?
I'm actually in Los Angeles near UCLA.
Fabulous. That's exactly the area I live when I'm in LA, too.
Oh, look, we're neighbors. Snaps.
Snaps, snaps, snaps. I take my sister's dog to UCLA. He loves it. The land there is so beautiful at the
Oh, then we are
UCLA.
absolutely neighbors. We might end up at the same park one day.
Yeah. Do you have little doggies that you take there too?
I have one Cocker Spaniel.
Okay, cute, cute. I'm in Detroit right now. Shout out Detroit. Woohoo.
Woohoo.
So, a big hit. Congratulations to you. Your new film just came out on Netflix. So, tell the person tuning in the name of your film.
The film is called Held Hostage in My House. And yes, it came out yesterday. So it's great to be here. Thank you so much for
Yes.
having me.
Yes, 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 yes. And why tell this story?
Mm. Well, funny story behind the story. I learned that the film was going to be on Netflix last Wednesday. So I have been running like a crazy person, getting everything ready. We shot this film actually back in 2022. We completed it in 2023. At the time, no one was buying movies or licensing movies. There was like a freeze. So that was really hard to go through. Um, and then finally we got a bite by A&E. And at that time it was a miracle. Really, so we took it because at that point we didn't know where the industry was going, and we can talk about that later. But I was just so grateful that it had been picked up. This is an independently made movie, completely financed outside of the studio system, completely created, top to bottom independently. And I'm not my sort of writing style and like the films I make really don't kind of fit into like the film festival mold. So I'm kind of like this obscure thing. And so when we got picked up by A&E, it was just like a miracle. And then the film was released on Lifetime, which is fabulous. So grateful for that. But I also felt like deep in my heart, it didn't quite fit the whole Lifetime sort of staple. And it was clear with people's remarks or comments, there is a certain kind of Lifetime movie that those fans really like. And the film didn't deliver on that front. So as much as I was so grateful for Annie, and there was a producer there that really put her arms around the project, we unfortunately had to cut 18 minutes of the film, which is like a dagger to the heart. But again, I was just grateful that we had distribution and it got picked up. So that was that. The movie was over. It came out in 2024 and it was sort of in my mind shelved. It was time to move on with life and, cobble some things together and try to figure out this new landscape and figure out what the next project is going to be. And so that was the reality I've been living in until last Wednesday. And
Wow,
this is
this is
this is the funniest part of the story. One night I'm watching a show and I never check my Facebook anymore. It's just, I'm kind of trying to not spend too much time on social media. And I checked my messenger, and a friend of mine from childhood, from 7th grade, her name is Monique. All of my friends from high school and junior high know about our relationship. She's a very special girl, and we've been friends since 7th grade. So I don't want to age myself, but I guess a long time, right? And she messaged me from Malaysia. She's visiting her family there, and she said, "Annie, I can't watch your movie yet on Netflix because I'm in Malaysia, but when I get back, I will." And I was just like, what is she talking about? And only someone like her would be able to decipher all of this because she watched it on its release on Lifetime, and she's one of those people that has like a nuanced sort of type of personality where she can really zone in on this stuff. And So yeah, I found out from my childhood friend that the movie was going to be released on Netflix. Now, everyone can probably like be thinking, how is that even possible? And I immediately emailed my sales agent and I was like, hey, did you guys know this? They didn't know. And it's not, I'm not upset by it. I'm like ecstatic. But yeah, so A&E subleased it to Netflix. So we're on Netflix where I thought we always should have been. And I know, right? Which is funny. We've been out for 24 hours, I think, and Amy Smart is the star of the story. If you remember Amy Smart, some of our favorite movies, Butterfly Effect, Crank, Rat Race, Best Friends. She is one of the best actors in our generation. She came on board, and this is not, one of those scripts that is an easy task. By any means. I needed someone who had the gravitas and the willingness to really go there, because we are in a very interesting predicament in the story. For a long period of time, you would have to sign up for grueling days. You would have to sign up for, this sort of psychological mind-bendy traveling through the mind. I call it mind travel. And she was down, and it's just so funny because I haven't watched the film in a while, so I'm coming back at it with new eyes with the 18 minutes cut, dagger to the heart. And I'm like, I'm really proud. I'm really proud of everyone who was a part of this. We had one of the best experiences on set. It was like a family experience. It's almost like one of those experiences where you leave and you feel like you've left summer camp and you just left all your best friends and you're going to go cry in your bed for like 2 weeks. There's like this subtle depression. And so I think it's just so fascinating that to conjure up all of these memories and photos and 3 years later after the fact and to see it on Netflix is something.
Wow, congratulations. You just gave so much to the person tuning in. I have so many questions.
Yeah, I
but
bet.
especially as female entrepreneurs and filmmakers, and not only, did you write this film, you directed this film. So how did the story come about?
Yeah, Deadly Illusions was my last psychological thriller that was also on Netflix. It went worldwide straight to Netflix, and it was a massive hit. And it had a sort of a dichotomy reaction where people either loved it or hated it, and that just caused more fervor and excitement, which was really fun, right? And so after you come off something like that, how do you duplicate it without thinking, oh, I should just make Deadly Illusions too, right? And so I have a lot of ideas that I store in my notebooks and everything. And this idea, I was a part of the vacation rental experience. I was an early adapter. I had a couple vacation rentals at the very beginning, and that's how I muddled my way through after film school and getting 2 features done through Sony Pictures. I wasn't paid a lot, so you have to find other ways to make money. I think there's a lot of artists that kind of know this story. And every time I cleaned the vacation rental, I always thought, wouldn't it be interesting to do a story from the perspective of the person cleaning it, the person who is living also in it and comes and goes? And because there's all these moments where you find these clues, right? And I sort of just banked that in the back of my head. And whenever you have those moments where you can marinate on your ideas, I would go back to that and back to that. The other thing that was interesting is we're just coming off of COVID, and I knew I needed an idea that was fairly contained. So I was like, well, this might be the one. I grew up in the countryside of Petaluma, so I was familiar with what it's like to grow up in the country and how you're sort of isolated. And if something does happen to you, it's not easy to get help. No one can hear you. It's almost like you can become trapped out in this beautiful landscape. And so I thought that was compelling. And yeah, I think that's where the seed of the idea came. I also am a divorcee. I have 4 children, so I went through that experience. Yeah,
My
survived.
mom and dad have 4 kids too. I'm number
Yeah.
2.
So,
Shout out to big families.
yes, absolutely. I have 3 older children and 1 younger one. So 4 altogether, and they are just fantastic kids. I'm very lucky. So I think, that experience and then just witnessing other people going through it, it's so crazy when you talk to others who have been through it, or you even just catch inklings of people who have gone through it. We need therapy. That's what art is for. We need something to, validate these insane feelings of what it's like to go through. So I thought, okay, I could take a stab at that. And so, and then the heart of the story is really the mother and son bond. It's this invisible string that connects the two. And it's this idea that a child can have very strong intuitive feelings, and how when they say it over and over again, no one listens to them. And I thought that was also compelling. And when I look at the film after all this time and I watched it, I thought that is really what this film is about. That invisible string between the mother and son, where he knows something is wrong with his mom. It's also about how you can be physically trapped in something with your physical body, but you can also trap yourself mentally. So she has to not only find a way to release herself physically, she also needs to find a way to release herself mentally. And we sort of do that to ourselves. Women are really good at that. We have a tendency to super psychoanalyze every relationship, every conversation, what everyone says. And so I wanted to try and create this experience where you walk, it's like walking through the mind of a woman as her mind is racing through all of these, not only possibilities of who did this to her, but also, just the hundreds of thoughts that run through our minds daily. They do say our minds are more advanced than the male mind. And so this goes back to why, why I do what I do. I feel very strongly that the female gaze or these types of stories can help illuminate the female mind.
I love all this. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist, he says we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts, which are negative. So we fire and wire, and then we can unfire and unwire. So,
Mm.
yeah, so that's just kind of some information on like the brain, the energy, the thought, the form that manifests that could be into actualization. So yeah, I completely understand how, life imitates art imitates life, and we take our personal experiences and our imaginations. And I grew up Greek, you know with the goddesses and the gods and Greek mythology. So I was in the, the fantasy worlds of delusion and illusion and fantasy and whatever, and grounded in reality. So you take some of those beautiful gifts that are free flow, and viscerally, as humans, we get to experience the country, and we get to experience different circumstances, and then, walk that fine line of putting it into your craft as an artist, and then be able to tell those stories, to share them with other people, and then they can identify in their own unique ways, and then be inspired as a ripple effect to then, tell their own stories if it's a fellow actor, lesbian, or filmmaker out there. So very cool. I was just kind of
Yeah.
encapsulating everything you shared in kind of a, in another language and another way. Wow, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
all of
You
that. Wow.
You also, you know, so this was my fifth feature film that I directed, my fourth that I was a part of, on being on the ground floor, like authorship, true authorship, ownership. And I think I'm entering this realm where I want the final product, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. I want the final piece to be as enriching as the journey. I want those things to be in alignment. And even though I felt like I failed my team for a period of 2 years in a way, and that somehow I missed the mark, I knew the consolation prize was, oh, at least we had this dynamic experience making this film, right? And so last week, to wrap your head around the fact that it's actually going to go out to 300 million users on the largest platform in the US, it's like bringing your brain, your brain can't even quite wrap its head around it, because I have been deconstructing the fact that I quote unquote sort of failed. And here we are. That was the whole intention, was to be sort of a piece of art that can be just a smidge of therapy for anyone who has been through this or can assimilate to this. And so I'm so excited, because I do know, like, over the next 7 to 10 days, that will be when most watch it. And I hope it does something for everyone and anyone who's watching.
Yeah, I love that. That's so beautiful. How fantastic. Wow. That's just like next level. And the person tuning in, if you're not already on the YouTube, we are on video, so you can hop over to the video. I need to do like a beginning insertion thing that says that, because anyways, it pops up. But yeah, we're over here going mind blowing, mind blowing. Wow.
Yeah, and my
You
hair is wet because
ah,
I literally have no time to do all of my normal rudimentary things, because I am chasing the daylight. I am moving as fast as I can between press, making sure everything is square. Like, it, there's a whole other wave that happens when a movie releases, and it's exciting. Thank goodness I have the energy, because I've had a year off from the film. But yeah, so I was like, oh, I should hurry up and blow dry my hair. And I'm like, you know what? No. Everyone needs to know that this is what's happening. This is real. This really happened, and here we are.
yeah, it's real and raw, and we show up, and that's authentic, and that's how people really connect. It's so
Yeah.
impactful. So go on with your bad self. I would like to say, because you mentioned the bits of like of how you found out that it's on Netflix, and the communication style of entertainment and in the world, and there
Mhm.
isn't people think it has to be a certain way or it's this way, but it can show up anyway. And that's the magic about it too. Yeah, it would have been nice if you would have had the call from your teammate or someone. And then you mentioned getting it being on Lifetime. You mentioned getting a bite on A&E. So for the person tuning in who doesn't understand or doesn't use ChatGPT to understand the formality, or it is different, and and it happens
Yeah.
different way. How did it happen for you with like a sales rep or an agent, or getting in contact, and how to approach that for someone to be interested to represent your team to get it on these platforms, with an A&E, and then obviously Integral, they have the capacity to then boom license it to Netflix that you mentioned, like cool.
Mhm.
So maybe you want to speak a little bit on that process for the internalness of it.
So, okay, yeah, we can go there. I like to say I'm not a huge chess player. I've done my best in learning the game, but I do feel like when I set out to make a movie, it is a grand chess game. And there are many moves you can make and levers depending on what you're presented with. So, if you have a really big star, A-list star, there's certain moves you make on the chessboard. If you have a star that is huge, like Amy Smart, and we haven't seen her do something diabolical like this in a while, there's other sets of chessboard moves you have to make. So it's one of those things that I can't give the gameplay one way is the way. Right? I will say this: at the end of the day, if you're showing up for the right reasons and you're writing for the right reasons and you're coming from a place of truth, that is like your North Star. You will know what move on the chessboard to make because you are grounded in that. I think I've found people who make mishaps and flounder a little when they're only in it for the commerce, which is interesting because movies are a huge money making venture, right? For Wall Street, the streamers, all of that. And when I meet an artist or when I meet someone in this industry, I try to right away figure out what lens they're looking through. Some artists do not want to regard at all that this is art meets commerce at all. So if you don't sign up for that, full on that idea, then there's no point in me talking to you about the chessboard because you're just all art. And that is a path, and go for that. the way I've psychoanalyzed like what I'm trying to do with my work and the cinema I'm trying to create is affect as many people, quote unquote, women as I can. So therefore, I must sign up for the art meets commerce side. So that means that I have a commercial aspect to everything I think about. Like, I'll come up with an idea, but if it doesn't hit those boxes for art meets commerce, I set it to the side because that's not where I'm at right now. Now, hopefully someday that will change and I can be full blown Terrence Malick, full blown
Sophia Coppola.
But yeah, like, but I'm not, those aren't the cards I was dealt. That's not the chess game I'm playing. So I say that because I think it's so funny. Like, you have to be delusional. You absolutely have to be delusional. There is a degree of delusionalment you must have, but also you have to turn that off and just be a realist and really look at what is in front of you. So I have to just preface all of that before I say the next thing. So with all of that said, knowing that I have a basically micro budget, which is like under 4 million, let's say 3 million, 3 to 4 million. Okay. So under 5 million, that is by all accounts a micro budget. That is only a certain amount of days. That means when you write the script, it has to fit within that parameter. So when I'm writing the script, and this is something they say in film school not to do, but I can't help but do it because I want this movie made. And I need to see the target and I need to make the moves on that chessboard to get it made. So I purposely wrote the script to be shot in under 20 days. Now, all of my films have been shot around 16, 17 days. So I thought for sure on this one, I'm going to get 20 days. Wow, I've graduated. Like, I'm so excited. And sure enough, push came to shove. Things happened and we had to move things around. I ended up shooting this film in 16 days with an incredible crew. We worked hard, we played hard, we got through it. And that's what probably makes the experience so insane. But I don't recommend that. I don't. I actually think you need at least 20 days. So yeah, we did that. And then, you know, the fun of this piece, I think, is all of these characters. And I didn't realize it until after the fact. I was playing a board game with my daughter and I looked at my kids and I was like, you guys, it's called Held Hostage in my house now. It used to be called Blunt. I was like, you guys, look, there's a doctor, there's a professor, there's, you know, and that's exactly what, there's a Scarlet, like from the, movie Clue. There's a femme fatale in Held Hostage in my house. All of these same type of characters are in this story, but I did not wake up one day and go, oh, I'm going to write a Clue. That's not how this happened, you know? And so I just think that's interesting. And so I call it like, it's sort of it's a whodunit in the same vein as Clue or Knives Out on a micro level, but we're trying to tackle like big issues within the mind, which I think is quite a challenge. It's fun. You want to hit your head against the wall every day based on the challenges that are presented to you. But I'm a firm believer in collaboration and listening to best idea wins, and I believe in process. So yeah, this is to answer your question succinctly. Let's see. I had a partnership with Voltage Pictures from Deadly Illusions. That partnership I continued with on the second one. Just because you have a sales agent doesn't mean you have a home run. You still have to go up to the plate and hit the ball. You still have to hit a home run. And when they're one of the best in the independent realm, when they couldn't even sell the film, that tells you something. It means that the ship has hit the iceberg. And I like to say that like I saw it before everyone else and I jumped off the ship and got onto the Carpathia. I downsized my entire life because I saw what was about to happen with the industry. This was a year and a half ago. So I've been bracing for impact since a year and a half ago. Again, why the phone call last week is so crazy, because never ever did I think we would go to Netflix. Not in a million years. I thought that was over. That ride is over. The movie came out, right? I'm ready for this like next wave of what we're about to go into. So to conjure all these memories back up and to try to like pull it out, it's like, wow, okay. So Voltage Pictures is the sales agent. We're out to a list. We have a list of actresses that I think that can actually pull off this role. If you break that down, that's a whole other thing. I hate to say it, but there's not a lot that could pull this off. There's a very short list, in my opinion.
And you have to look at foreign sales as well.
Yeah, you have to look at foreign sales. You have to look at everything because those numbers inform how you're going to close your private equity. So you get your sales estimates, you take those, you have your tax incentive, and you know, I pride myself on being efficient as possible, and I get a lot of flack from my artist friends, my filmmaker friends for this because by all accounts, like every filmmaker should want 30 days and shoot at sunset and like, and I just have a clear mission of what I'm doing, and that is to create as many of these stories as I can in my life so I can infiltrate, for yeah, the cinemascape for all of the women in my mind that need this content. I do feel it is like almost like a mission of mine. Okay, sounds, I know, delusional, but let's just go with it. I think it's more fun to be a little delusional than not. You have much more fun. It's a better time over here.
I'm in it. We're in it together. We're having fun.
Like,
Right here. She's all over the place.
yeah,
Delusional.
like it's
I'm
fine.
on the train.
Just stick with me, guys. And that's so funny too, because like by the third day of shooting the film, everyone starts to understand, oh, this is what it's like to be on Anna's set. Okay, and they all start to jump into the pool with me, like this is how it's gonna be. So it's funny because it always takes about by the third or fourth day, everyone starts to figure out like, oh, this is different. Anyway, there's a whole little psychology behind that too.
It's better. It's different.
Yeah. You want everyone happy by the fourth day that they are on this shoot and not any other shoot, And so there's things you got to do to make that happen. But anyway, so you have your sales agent, you go out to your stars. I mean, it's probably now sounding like the same old thing, but there's just so many moving pieces on that chessboard. There's so many variances that are going on. There's sometimes robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's just navigating, storms that come at you. I don't know. Like the truth is, I don't even know how I do it. People ask me all the time. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it's a lot. I don't even know where to begin.
You show up. You show up, and I guess you're integrous to your morals and your values, and like you said earlier, your mission and your vision. And one of the things I really take away that I would like to pull out for the person tuning in is it's not about perfectionism, and it's not about like A through Z, the alphabet. It's showing up in technology as it's ever evolving, showing up where we are, and telling a story and telling as many as possible, not making them as perfect as possible. You didn't say that. You said your mission is to tell as many stories as possible. You want to go and get through them, but you learn from experience. You learn from your experience, a red flag, green flag, what works, doesn't work. You pivot and shift. So that's what I'm taking from everything you're saying.
And I think like, it goes back to what is your definition of success, right? In film school, we laud the filmmakers like Christopher Nolan because he's only made 9 quintessential all being films. Quentin Tarantino, the same thing. They are very precious, and that is considered successful, and it is. They've succeeded. We love those films. We show up at the theaters, like everything about them. Chef's kiss. But I remember at USC when we would study these films, I was like, okay, my whole life, when I'm 90 and I hopefully have beautiful grandchildren, I have this family around me, will 8 films be enough? Is that my goal? Like, what is it? So I try to really articulate to myself, like, what is the goal? What is the mission? Like, why are you here? Is it just to, I always say, like, an idea is about you at the beginning, but by the end, it's about everyone else but you. Is it about me? So this is where I can get into big debates with other artists, because I do feel like I'm serving the audience. In the beginning, I know I'm serving my own little selfish desire to express something that's really hankering on me, but there comes a point in that process where I'm like, how do I make this fun? How do I make this pop? Like, how do I really do a zing? And I even though we have a super ultra low budget on this film, Held Hostage in My House, there is a sequence of like about 15-20 minutes that is mwah, chef's kiss. And, even my kids, when they read the script for the first time, were like, Mom, this is like your best writing right here. These 40 pages, like they read like it's crazy. And everyone, when you talk to them, is just like, that's my favorite part. Well, to get to that cherry on top, to get to that sweet spot, you got to pay your dues. You got to like set up the story. You got to, and the format is an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's not 4 hours. I'm not making a series. So this is the parameters I have to work within. And so I am most proud about that sequence where we are now in the recesses of her mind, that we are in this headspace where, and I don't want to do any spoilers, so cover your ears for just a second, but where the characters are now in the room with her. And to me, that was so exciting, because if one day I ever want to direct theater, this is a perfect script, a perfect story to direct the stage, because it takes place in a bedroom. And that was the other challenge I had, was like, how can I make a whole movie essentially in a bedroom? It's not all in a bedroom. Listeners, please know that we don't stay the whole time in a bedroom, but you will see after watching it, what I'm saying about this. So, and I also felt like, if the last psychological thriller was the freshman film, this is my sophomore film. This feels like the right next step. And then, I kind of just like feel it out. Like the next one I think I'm going to do feels like a junior film. Like I'm not to the senior level yet. I don't want to skip a rung on the ladder. I don't want to get too big for my britches. Like I want to climb there. And so I hope over time people start to get it. Like, wait, this is different. And there's actually a quote in the behind the scenes that Matt Davis says, and we got into deep talks about this. He's like, I feel like you're carving out a new genre. And I was just like, that is so sweet, Matt. Thank you so much. He's like, no. He's like, no one's like done this. He's like, it's, and I guess what I could say is I love the psychosexual thrillers from the female gaze. So is that Nolan meets 80s noir? Is that, what is that? And that's sort of the headspace. That's what excites me. And it sounds so fun, and to give the audience that sort of mind trip.
Yeah, congratulations in being on the forefront of it as a woman storyteller, because no one, no matter what, like no one knows what's in our minds and how we process and how we feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so neat. That's so beautifully said. And you're marking it in history. So that's really cool.
Yeah, well, before last Wednesday, on Tuesday, the reality was, right? It felt like I'm in the abyss, in the ether, and everything is delusional. And then here we are a week later, and suddenly, I mean, you
Netflix.
guys, that's just crazy. That's
You're
just
like, I'm gonna go
crazy.
celebrate in San Tropez. Watch out. Love that bit. Um, so okay, so I mean, we've really gone all over the place. Let's hone
We
it in
have.
here. So I love the flowers and the ethereal feel. And so, what did you shoot it on?
Gosh, oh, Mike McMillan, 3 years ago, what did we shoot it on? I feel like we shot it on the Ari. I
Mm.
feel like that's what it was, with really great lenses. Oh, what are they? I'm so sorry. I don't know. But Mike McMillan, my DP, is brilliant. Just he's a painter with light. He's so good at lighting women. If I
Oh yeah.
am lucky enough to make a dozen films with him, I think, that would be a dream.
Invite me, because I mean, I agree. I mean, I love his, like, it's like gracious and beautiful, but there's like a cinematic edge to it. Like he
Yes.
brings the edge and just the with the
Yes.
lighting, just the right amount of edge to be
Yeah,
like
he
cool.
yeah, and you know, obviously his whole team, his whole department, like those guys, man, I can't even begin to tell you how much they fought every day. It like makes my eyes tear up. Um yeah, it just really is amazing. That's the beauty of an independent film is everyone's there for the right reasons. And so I think you see it, you know, it's like creating a moving portrait. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
And Mike and I, well, first of all, the thing about Mike is he has an energy and aura about him that's chill. Like we're mom and dad, right? And so that sets the tone for the whole set. So and then everyone he brings on and everyone I bring on, we've sort of fallen step in that way. And the one thing that all the actors always say to me is they say, "This is crazy. I've never experienced anything like this." And I'm like, "What do you? Oh no, is it bad or good?" And they're like, "No, this we only did 2 takes and we're moving on." And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, we have to go." I'm like, we got it. I promise you we have it. I spent 10,000 hours in the editing bay. Like I know what we're doing. Trust me on this. And so yeah, Greer's been on 3 of my films and she's like, "Yeah, welcome to Anna's set. This is how it goes," you know, and I don't think I'll ever change. I mean, yes, there's sometimes we do 4 or 5 takes, you know, especially if it's a big Steadicam shot. And Travis, our Steadicam op, he also, so Mike and Travis are like my dream team on camera. They shot together Deadly Illusions. And so it just speaks to sort of my interpretation of the material is I want to enter almost a trance-like state. And the way in which Mike does his thing and Travis and the entire, you know, it really helps the material do what I imagined it to do. And I think that's what's making people, they're either like really into it or they're kind of abrasive to it because I get it. It can feel sometimes not cringy, maybe a little campy, because I also want to have fun. Like, there's moments where you're supposed to laugh. At Deadly Illusions at the climax, you're supposed to cackle. In this film, you are supposed to cackle at the moment where things get crazy. Like,
yeah.
you're like,
Like when she tells Billy Zane, when Amy Smart tells Billy Zane, like, "Oh, you two or 3," you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah. Like,
that was
you're
like
supposed to go, wait.
that was like
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's the idea that life is a little crazy. And did I hear that right? You know, it feeds into am I crazy or are they crazy or is this world crazy? I don't know. I can't figure it out. And therein lies this like fun space. But yeah, everyone on the team was incredible. Like I could talk about everyone for 6 hours, you know.
Yeah.
But we all know what we did. You know, if you ask anyone, we know the secrets of that set.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, moving straight along because we're wrapping it up soon. I really appreciate your time. I mean, this is like wonderful, and us spending time together is just really fantastic and such an honor. Under all the behind the scenes circumstances that I know about and the person tuning in now knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Zane, like I'm Greek. I know Billy Zane's Greek, and
Mm-hmm.
also I know he's a fantastic painter because I frequent the
Mm-hmm.
Four Seasons often and have seen some of his paintings inside the Four Seasons on Doheny. And I know you
Mm-hmm.
have an artist. You pay homage to her. All the artwork comes from this artist. So let's talk about Greek Billy Zane. I mean, he looks fantastic in the film. He looks
Yeah.
such a vibe. He's so cool.
Yeah.
He's always amazing. Let's talk
Yeah.
about Billy Zane for a moment. Anything you want to share about him? And then how did you find the painter and decide it was going to be all her artwork inside of your film?
Yeah. So the film stars Amy Smart, Billy Zane, Matt Davis, Neo, Greer Grammer, and a whole bunch of other fun characters, right? Everyone is just eclectic and so talented. Billy Zane came on to play the character of Dr. Walter. Dr. Walter has a very interesting lifestyle. this is not something a lot of actors are willing to take on. They're not. It's a little bit, in my opinion, like now, once you see Billy play the role, it's like, of course it's Billy Zane, And I just, he is my hero because he got it. He just got it and he's like, yeah. And, when you work with such pros like Amy and Billy, I think that there's a scene in the film that got cut of Billy with these two foxes, the girlfriend and the wife, out on the lawn, and Amy is smoking a blunt, painting, and he walks up to her and says, hey, can I get a smoke? While the girls are running around in their outfits doing a role play. I mean, it's really diabolical. It's my favorite scene I've ever made. And when we were shooting it, everyone on set was like, this is the greatest scene ever made. So maybe someday I'll be able to release the scene. But the point is that Billy really, he just got it. And, on our days off, we bonded. We went off as a team, as a crew, and did fun activities together. And it just had, the material kind of spoke to like the vibe also. And Billy really articulated the best in the behind the scenes. He just said it's got this like, I mean, I can't even duplicate what he said, but something like dark comedy meets mind bending, quality to it. And it's just so reaffirming when actors come on board like that and they're like, I am so in this. Like they just get it,
Yeah, eclectic, very
Yeah.
eclectic. I don't know. He kind of gives me like an Andy Warhol kind of vibe,
Oh yeah, he
even.
does. Yeah. And back to the art. So we one of my associate producers, I put her in charge of recruiting an artist, and she found Valentina Sarfa back east, who attends Bard in the MFA program. And I was like, great, let's go to her. So we pitched her the project. She made unique pieces for the film with the goal of honoring an artist at the end. It is like chef's kiss, cherry on top, because I'm all about championing. It's a huge, another part of my mission is championing women artists. And she is just so special and so rare, and she is a phenomenal talent. She also read the script to make sure everything I was doing was accurate in terms of like what it's like to be an actual mixed media artist in a college like Bard, just making sure it all adds up, because that kind of program does allow for, or has, all ages. And that's the other thing that I love is, I tend to write for the older female, because we don't see enough of that. And at any point in your life, you can restart. You can decide you want to go back to art school, or you can, and that's what's happening with Dawn's character. She's in the middle of figuring out her artistic voice, and all of these pressures are caving in on her, and she really can't breathe or drink. She can't, she's like starving. So yeah.
I love how you said that because, I'm a painter, poet, and I have a lot of artists on the show, a lot of blockchain artists, NFT artists, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different kinds of artists on the show. And that's the dream, to be honored into a film, to have your work into a film. So this is fantastic. And I just think it's beautiful, honoring all the paintings at the end and showing who the artist is. I mean, exactly
Yeah, I've
what
been
is
sending Valentina voice messages because we just found out last week, and she's like so overwhelmed. I'm like, babe, I just need you to make like a TikTok account, and I need you to just post one of your paintings. I need you to feed the algorithm. I need people to find you. There's gonna be 10 million people watching you. Like I need, like, because the goal is to get her at a gallery. When she's at a gallery, then she can go onto these sites and sell her art. Like she's at that in between step. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like,
she needs
so
like PR and marketing, but I think it would be really cool to take the films once it's, I think now it's take the films and auction them off, and then have them go to something that's meaningful to you and her and a female, like a percentage of it, and auction them off from a feature film. Like no one's ever done that. Who's done that? Who
you
is
mean the
taken
you mean the films, or
the
you mean
piece,
her
the
pieces?
the pieces?
She owns them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't own them
No,
at
I'm
all.
saying.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying to
Yes.
auction,
I
saying
know.
I'm a female artist featured in this film that's
I
on
know.
Netflix,
I
and then
know.
auction them off to
I
the
know.
bidder, and then saying a percentage will go towards XYZ.
I know.
Just find a
I
marketing
talk
PR person to help with that.
I know I talked to Gemini because I'm like running around trying to help everyone figure, because it's like there's heat on us, right? And I'm like talking to Gemini, and 3 days ago the algorithm didn't quite understand who she was. Today it's understanding a little better, so I'm like, okay, we gotta. So everyone, Valentina Sarfeh, Sarfeh, please Google her. Write a review about the film. Mention her at the end of your review. Let's get her name out there. um that would be like the best if I could see her
Yeah.
launch. Yeah.
We should do a separate episode and have her on the podcast so she's in our SEO
Oh,
algorithm on a
yes.
podcast,
Oh,
and
if you could
we
do that, that
backlink
would
it
be
to
amazing.
oh yeah, we backlink it to my friends. I have a column on my friend's online blog, David's Guy, that has over 200,000 unique hits per month. So he's a SEO
Mm,
king. But I'll put her in the show notes here as well so it pops up on your episode.
great. That's what we need. We need the story. And she can talk about, she was so weighted down, the experience. She felt overwhelmed with the weight. She had read the script, she knew the character. She's, a keen film lover as well. And so I think she had not painter's block, but I think she really, to talk about that journey and doing the main painting that's featured at the end of the film, I think is a fascinating story that should be told.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Lastly, I would just like to say, because earlier I thought about my mom when you said Lifetime, and then later on now you mentioned telling stories, you personally, for like women who are older than younger girls. And I'm like, oh, in my clicked, I'm like, oh, that's why I was a fit for Lifetime, because I remember growing up, my mom just watching Lifetime every day, weeping away watching Lifetime. So it made
Yeah.
sense. But I love how you're being a forceful, a thoughtful leader in the forefront of telling women's stories, because they can feel so isolated with the choices that they made, not having, having a cushion, or not having the education or the backbone or the finances mostly. And they're in in certain stages of being trapped, as you mentioned earlier, the mind. But so telling these stories to women going into 2026 now, whatever, but telling these stories to women so they can maybe be inspired to make different choices and not be blocked into like Dawson's Creek days or the 80s days, because people's computers get stuck and they
Mhm.
need to upgrade.
And
So by you telling
yes,
these,
I say that all the time. You need to update your software. Like your brain actually needs an update.
yes, yes, and there's proven
But
fact in
we're
science.
gonna update it, and I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do one tapestry or one piece of the tapestry, one color, but you've got to find the 90 other colors that are around you and gravitate towards that. And I think with the films that I intend to make, I want to dance this very fine line between, I want to entertain the men, so the men are like, yeah, I'm down, let's watch. And the women are like, don't talk to me for 24 hours. And then at lunch, I need to talk to you, to their friend. And then the next day, I need to talk to you again. Because that is the best compliment when people say to me, I'm still thinking about your film and it's 4 days later. Or because that means that hopefully I'm a part of helping you update your software. Like just a
Yeah.
smidge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in science that our brains still can learn and develop after the age of 60. The neuroplasticity, we can
Mhm.
update, and we can build new neurotransmitters and synapses. Like it's proven. So,
Yeah,
uh,
the science is there between the male and female brain, and it only makes sense that we would be more apt to watch psychosexual because it's running all four cylinders. Men are just there for the sexual. They're like, their sexuality is overt. Ours is more cerebral, right? And same with this. If we're walking through the mind of a woman and all these voices running through their head, the men are like, what the heck? That's not how my brain works. So therefore, therein lies the thesis, the ultimate thesis, which is, why do we need female storytellers? Why? Well, hopefully that can also be a part of the conversation, and again, making a little smidge of a difference. There's in my generation, I'm Xennial, Gen X. I think about the generations coming up and the women, their stories are going to be so unique to that generation, and so I'm looking around. I'm keeping my eyes open on what else I can do. I think women like Reese Witherspoon with Hello Sunshine, and these very strong, forceful, intentional companies are what is needed, but it's like there's not enough. We need 24 Hello Sunshines, we need to run the whole rainbow of color. We're still only seeing a handful of colors in the
You're speaking
tapestry.
it. You're speaking it. There's Brene Brown, there's Mel Robbins, and then it drops. Men, there's so many men, but there's Brene Brown and Mel Robbins, and it
Yeah.
drops. So there's space for me, there's space for you, there's space for a lot of the women
and yes,
to come together and to step it up, and there's plentiful of it. Yes, I love it.
Totally agree. And speaking about the SEO and the algorithm and what you're doing here on the podcast and creating this conversation, what I've learned, I did a deep dive in June, educating myself on what's happening with AI. And the thing that I've realized is we live in a society that is a zero-sum game. We have been taught, we have been conditioned, there is a winner and there is a loser. But the algorithm and what is happening, it is changed. It is not a zero-sum game. It is an everyone can win game, because it can get that specific and that nuanced. You can ask the algorithm, hey, I want a show that talks about female noir film with a mix of the 80s, and you can get so specific and it will feed you what you're looking for. So therefore you can be found. Right? And that's the way I look at it. And so that's another part of, I'm seeing us as we move along in this sphere with, AI meeting cinema, that we need to start talking about more is the opportunities that are going to be opening up. I don't want to just talk about all of the negative. I want us to be hopeful for the future. I know it's delusional.
Definitely. It's not delusional. No, it's not delusional.
Come be in my delusional state. It's fun over here.
We're doing it. We're all doing it together. No, I mean, like the CEO of Deepak Chopra's foundation, Deepak, the CEO, Punancha, was on my podcast. They have an AI company together. I mean, so they're into AI. I go to events and with AI and fashion and technology. So, I mean, there are people to talk to and, create and make it happen. So let's go. Let's just go. Let's make it happen.
I feel like we're in the dawn of a gold rush. It's the dawn of a whole new frontier.
Oh,
it is
1,000. Yeah, I mean that is the language. That's the language that the people speak who are into the blockchain technology. I mean, that's all that they say. That's
really
like
that's
wild,
so funny,
wild.
because I'm not from that world. I'm from my cinema USC, film world, trying to
Okay. Yeah.
So that's interesting that's how they talk.
Yeah, Gold Rush and Wild Wild West. It's like the Gold Rush and Wild Wild West. Yeah, but and they say do your own research. Do your own research, So that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to have you back on again in the near future. You're my new friend. Let's go.
Yes, Katie. This has been so fun. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For contributing to the algorithm and sending out all these good vibes. Hopefully women find us, men too. There's no, but women need an extra little bit of love. They just do.
Yeah. It's so true. Definitely. Okay, wonderful. So, if you have Netflix, you know what to do. See the film.
Yes, please. Held Hostage in My House, starring Amy Smart. You'll go on a fun ride. If you can, write a review. That will also feed the algorithm and counteract any lopsided sort of, I don't know, this is just a little tidbit. I don't know if anyone realizes this, but 90% of movie reviewers are men. No hate there. That's just the way the system is, and there's nothing we can do about that. But you can write your own review, and that can counteract any lopsidedness. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what the algorithm has done.
I just got an idea, because I didn't know that, but since I watch so many movies because I have filmmakers on my show, I should start my own column of doing reviews. That could
Yeah,
be
there's
really
a whole
interesting.
accreditation thing I think that you have to go through. My friend did it because she specifically saw that. Yeah, and get this, this is another thing that people don't realize is a lot of these people, they get kickbacks. They get paid to give positive reviews. Like, do you ever wonder why the big superhero movie has 90% on Rotten Tomatoes? But
Right.
then, like, the
Oh.
little indie, whatever thing that came out of nowhere has like 20%, yet everyone, this is what happened with Deadly Illusions. I'm not saying the film is good. I'm just trying to say there's 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 a reason why this happens. It all has to do with everyone has to survive, and you're going to do whatever it takes to survive, right? And if you gave a positive review to that and that and that, that's not going to drive traffic. What's going to drive traffic is negativity. So a film like this, that is strongly from a female gaze and is a little out there, is for the taking for a negative review. It hits all the buttons. It brings in the most revenue. But the good news is we have the algorithm now. The algorithm has been updated, and when someone writes a review, your review can be as powerful as a movie reviewer because you're feeding the algorithm, and the algorithm will collect all 300 thoughts and compute. Well, a lot of people say this and a lot of people say this, but you know what? There's a whole group of people that say this.
Like Reddit's huge for
Right.
Reddit
And
pops up all the
so
time.
so I'm like, oh, we might actually have a chance. But there is a reason why the data shows that you have to go back to the data. Stats don't lie. There's a reason why our films don't do as well. You know?
I feel
They
that.
don't, or they, by when I say don't do well, they're not being communicated that they're good because of the system
Oh yeah.
in place. Yeah.
But now we have a new system, so we're breaking into.
Yes. Updating a
Yeah.
lot of software around here.
I love that. I have an idea. I had when you were talking about all this, it could even be on this topic. That would be super cool. But we should do a film called "People Love Chaos." Everyone would watch it. Isn't it a great title? People
Yeah,
love
yeah.
chaos.
People love chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we can think about what it can be, but maybe it's like, maybe it's this storyline of a woman who starts her own writing reviews for films, and then it's like all these like chaotic stories or something, and then everyone is like trying to figure out who she is. Like, remember, like Call Her Daddy before she like announced who she was. She did
Mm-hmm.
it like incognito because she didn't want like anyone to know it was her, and then it blew up and people found out later. Kind of like a Sex in the City kind of vibe,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Mm-hmm.
she's like a journalist or like she has a column, but she does it on the reviews
Mm-hmm.
incorporating AI and technology and stuff like that. That
Mm-hmm.
could be really cool. And
That's
there's
very
these all
meta.
these like
We're
chaotic.
traveling deep now. You got me in my brain. You got me.
I mean, it is a collaboration just by communication, which is great for the
Yeah.
person tuning in because that's how you make art. You know,
Yes.
you just brainstorm, you're open,
Well,
you say
it's
yes,
in
you say
yeah,
yes.
it's in the zeitgeist. That's where this that Held Hostage in My House, formerly called Blunt, came from. This idea that we've always seen guests go into. We've seen stories where the guests go into the vacation rental, but we've never seen a host the guests. That to me is whoop. And so that's in the zeitgeist. It's in the ether. We just have to grab it, pull it out, and personify it. Give it,
Mhm.
legs. Give it texture. And so yeah, I do think there is something to be said about a cumulative, ideation sort of, you know.
And if we don't, and if the person tuning in doesn't do it for their idea, whatever principle that may be, someone else will. We
Yeah, they
may and it
will.
and
Yes.
it might happen in 3 months, it might happen in 3 years, it might happen in 13 or 30, but it is out there and
Yeah.
someone else will capture it and take action. You can
Yeah.
have all the ideas and that's fine. Some things are sometimes only about ideas, like we can birth these ideas. I'm in my birthing season. I'm birthing these ideas, right?
Yeah.
Some of them, there's like the Hillary Putnam theories from Chicago. He died a few years ago, but it's like the Putnam theory where you have like these 5 different ideas, but they all just stay here instead of taking them into the form that I was mentioning earlier and to act on them. But the
Mm-hmm.
people who are delusional or the people who have the
Mm-hmm.
finances or the people who have the wits about them actually
Mm-hmm.
go forth because they're like a horse and they don't listen to people on the left and the right
Yeah,
and
I'm
they
the
go for their
horse.
vision.
I'm the horse at the gate. I want to run. Like I'm a little bit
Oh,
crazy. There's
I'm
no
a horse
money
girl.
powering this. It's pure like pure
Yeah.
insanity. Um, oh,
People
but
want to be a part of that energy. People want to be a part of that
mhm.
vision, though, you know?
Mm. I will say this, if there's any women out there listening and you're trying to figure out like how to juggle, like let's say you're wanting to transition out of a career and you want to be at home more, or you have children or whatever, you're a young mother, I would encourage you to think about becoming a movie reviewer. Because I actually think there is going to be more money there, and that is a great place to be with the algorithm updated, and you can send that out good, and be more I'm not saying you give every female gaze movie a positive review, but just invariably by your DNA and your genetic imprint in the world, you will say things that are a little more illuminating than what the other sex might say. So therefore, the art might rise. That's just me being delusional again, but
Okay.
I do think that is a job for anyone that wants to take it. It's out there. You can have it.
Okay. So you mentioned the transitioning. If you're transitioning, that's one. In addition, there are a lot of people, especially women, who just
Mhm.
watch program after program after program, and some may
Mhm.
be retired and bored out of their mind. So it could be something that they could do too if they're just
Exactly. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Let's talk about that generation where you're just don't even, you're kind of floundering. You don't, this whole AI thing is overwhelming. You feel like your operating system will never update. I'm going to tell you something. This is for you. That is an incorrect thought. That thought, let's get rid of it. Let's remove it. Let's update it right now. You too could be a movie reviewer. You too could take these huge IPs that are out there, that these huge streamers are putting out there, and you could latch onto it and create your own spin on it, and put that out into the algorithm ether, and that would make a dent, and you could make money. You could make money from your home. So yes,
and
all the age
so
groups.
you mentioned Gemini. So would they do the Google Gemini to say, give me step by step instruction on how
Sure.
to
For
do what
sure.
you just said?
Yes, Katie, you are speaking the language. All you have to do is go onto your computer and go to Google AI, Gemini, and she's your assistant. I call her Jenny. She's Jenny in my world. Hi, Jenny. Good morning, Jenny. It's so great. It's just I don't listen to her religiously, but man, she compiles a lot of information very quickly for me. A lot.
Quick,
Right?
less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that, and step by step you will, and every day ask the same question and see if you get a different answer, because that's fascinating too, because sometimes it gets tweaked based on what's happening currently in the world, in I call it the ether. I don't even know if we should be calling it that, but the truth is that you can do that, and maybe you need someone to give you permission, and I'm giving you permission, because I do think it is a hole in the market that needs to be filled, and there's not enough women doing it. There isn't,
Well,
statistically.
well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a new co-host on the podcast, Anna Elizabeth James. Welcome her. She's going to be the new co-host on the show. Woo-hoo-hoo. I love that. Woo.
Snap, snap, snaps. I love it. We just
Yes.
met like 40 minutes ago, an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm
An
so glad we
hour and
met.
15 minutes ago.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
you read the press release, watched the movie, and invited me on. Good job, Katie.
Uh,
Snaps for
of
you, Katie.
Yeah. Well, I go with my intuition. So when it came across my desk, I was like, yes, yes.
But
So yeah,
thank goodness you created this podcast. Thank goodness you stepped up to the plate. Thank goodness, even though you're in where are you? Detroit. You're
right
still
now.
showing up, like on your vacation or whatever you're doing. Like that's these little things all add up
Oh
accumulatively.
yeah. Oh girl, I'm in Thailand on an island doing my podcast. She's all over the place. Like I'm showing up everywhere. Like I will show up. And
Well,
that's what's about.
I
Showing
think
up.
that's noble, and I applaud you, and anyone who else who wants to join this game. It's fun. You can be a part of this, revolution that's happening. There's so many things you can do. That's what, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, this is special what you're doing, and I wish more women knew that they could do things like this.
Well,
They can
we just have
they
to
can make
keep.
movies, they can write movies, they can be a part of this landscape. I always think of the way I look at movies is we dream 30% of our life in our sleep. 30% of our life is a movie that we don't remember, right? And then when we're awake, we want to dream some more. We watch more moving pictures. So there's something to that, right? There's something that's very alive. Cinema is such a powerful tool, and I wish, like, when I'm 90, I hope I can look back and go, oh, I can see a whole bunch of women that I helped, brought them up. That's the dream for me. Like, that's sort of where my mind is now, is like, how can I help others and pull them up in the next generations. I mean, I'm not afraid to say my age either. I'm 47. So there's not much time left. I got a lot to do.
You forget time. You have a long journey ahead of you. Many blessings for you in your health. Go on with your big bad self. I mean, we have the same middle name, Elizabeth, so you are going far, girl. I was kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like I've just started. I feel like I'm a baby,
Yeah, you look like a baby. Look at you. You're so cute. You're a true humanitarian, and it really touches my heart. I love to hear and feel what you're saying, and it's so beautiful. Thank you.
Well, it's been really fun. You'll have to invite me back.
Oh yeah, no, she's coming soon. Yeah, you're invited anytime, anytime.
And Valentina, invite our darling Valentina, the artist of
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah, yeah. We'll make that happen. Well,
That's great.
offline, we'll email back and forth, make that happen.
Perfect.
And I'll see you. I'll see you when I'm in LA. I'll see you when I'm in LA next.
Yes, let's do it. Let's have lunch.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it.
I have some cool spots that I like to go to.
You have cool spots?
I mean, well, I think they're cool. They're probably nerdy.
Okay.
I'm kind of a closet nerd, or is that no? I'm actually kind of nerdy. But
that's okay. No, I'm a bit of a nerd too.
I like pretend to be cool. When we're actually out and we're around actually cool people, that's when I turn on my cool persona and I'm like, oh yeah, I can hang. I can do this.
All right, well, we'll go to your spots to start, and then we'll go to some of my classic spots too.
There we go.
And we'll get you over to Gold Tree Studios on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, and I wonder if our spots are the same.
That's what I was wondering. What is going on? It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, congratulations. Enjoy the ocean, high waves, and everything in between. Keep it rocking with your whole cast and crew. And
yeah, a week ago I was on the bottom of the ocean, and now I'm on a surfboard and we're riding a wave. You just never know what can happen.
Y'all are in Hawaii on the best waves right now.
We're on the best island with the best palm trees and the coconut. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
We were lost in obscurity, and now we are front and center. What?
Yeah. Well, that's life, though, and people hear about that, and you're living proof of it, and so is your film, Held Hostage Inside My House. So on Netflix.
In my house.
Wow.
Held hostage in my house. It's fun. Amy's smart.
Held hostage inside my house. I'm held hostage. Help me. I'm in my house. I'm held hostage.
Or am I held hostage in my mind? Yeah. I'm held hostage.
So one last real quick thing, and I'm really going to let you go. But why did the name change? How did that happen? Because it happens in films all the time. Why was it Blunt formerly, and when and why did it change? Whose idea was that?
So everyone on my team loved the title Blunt. There are blunts in the film throughout, in almost all of the scenes. All of those scenes got pulled out because I think when Lifetime puts it on cable, you can't in certain states have certain rules. I don't know all the details, but I think that's what happened. Maybe that's also why Netflix passed on it in the first place. I don't know. Maybe also someone cock-blocked it. Did I say that? Maybe
it's okay. We can be explicit.
Maybe a year later, there was a new person in that position and was like, check. You know, who knows? I will never know, and it's probably best I don't know and let me stay in a little bit of my delusionalment. But in any case, I am going to trust the universe with this one. It's feeling like the right time. We just, with the hostages being released, there's a lot of things going on in the world. Maybe this is just a better time. So yeah, it was called Blunt because she got hit blunt on the head. Blunt force trauma to the head. And then there's also blunts in the film. So I'm not going to give any, say anything more about that. And then I really had no say in the new title, because once you license the film away, you're out. You lose
Yeah.
all your powers. You go from the most powerful to the most powerless.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge thank you for sharing that story. Sidebar, just I think Netflix is being very progressive with their content, and sometimes to be ahead of the competitors or unique or different, you have to do that like shock value as people do in comedy. So sometimes you do it in business to cause controversial moments. Interesting. So yeah, like you said, time, and
Timing,
placement.
you don't know.
Maybe someone new came along. Thank God they go through the arsenal and they rewatch things like someone new, or it's categorized, and boom, you just never know. But I love the lesson is because I know a lot of filmmakers, they'll do like their first thing, they want to direct it, not you, but they'll write something, direct it, and then they'll have a deal. But because they want to give them money as a writer and give them money and get their film made and give them the star cast for the foreign sales, so it equates, as you were saying earlier, in the game of chess. um they'll sabotage and not get their film made because they're so attached to their
Yeah.
first baby to direct. And it's like, no, like direct the second, third, fourth one, just like get your first one going, get a foundation, get a platform. So it's a business, like you said, it's a commerce, when it's the art, and then there's the business side of
Yep.
it, where we can't be so emotional, be able to detach and just shape shift, because maybe it's like this for this one, and it's a bummer, but maybe it won't be like this for the future one.
It is shape shifting, and Amy and I were talking about it last night because we were low key devastated about the title. My entire team, everyone was like, "It's a blow." Again, it feels like I failed them. But last night we were talking about it because my heroes are A&E and Netflix. Hello, and there's a part of me that's like, well, that title is going out into the algorithm. And then now that I see it on the platform, I'm like, oh, I would click on that probably more than I would on a title called Blunt. Because Blunt sounds a little artsy fartsy. I don't know what I'm getting into. Whereas Held Hostage in My House, I know exactly what I'm getting. Right? And so I have to, and the title doesn't make the film. The film is its own DNA and fingerprint. We make the title. I was looking at I Know What You Did Last Summer. If you could look at that and go, well, that's kind of a funky title. That's kind of a whatever title. But when you think of that IP, you think of, you know what that is, because the actual DNA of that story made that title. So that's what we're going with, and I love my title. I do. I think it's all good. Held Hostage in My House.
Love it, love it, love it. Congratulations. Tell Amy I said hi.
I will.
Actually, yeah, Katie Chinaka says hi. We actually did a short film back in the day together. I think Brett Ratner directed it. So
Oh,
I had a small part in that, and she was in it. I think her boyfriend at the time was the star of it. They all made it. But the last time I
no.
saw her was, we have a mutual friend, Jeff Skoll,
Mhm.
and I saw her at his birthday party, and she was telling me her husband's from Traverse City, Michigan. So
Yes, I know she lives there part-time and part-time in LA. And yeah, it's so funny. We hit it off. It's like we've known each other forever. It was crazy. It was really fun. One of the most exhilarating collaborations in my career for sure. I know that. But I will tell her that I saw you. Also, I met Brett Ratner at a TGA party once.
yeah, everyone has a rat story.
I have a rat story. That's another podcast.
For sure. You're coming back on. That's it, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Well, thank you so much for your time and being here with me. A big, huge congratulations to you, the whole
Thank
cast, the whole
you.
crew. I love everything you said. You paid it forward in so many ways for the fellow, filmmaker, artist, female entrepreneur tuning in. I mean, we really covered a lot, and we're just going to keep on going.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you so much. We appreciate it. Bye.
Yay! All right, Anna Elizabeth James, let's go.